Hey guys, welcome to another episode of RePitch, where we revisit, review, and redo movies. I'm David, here with my co-host Richard.
Hey guys.
And today, Richard's bringing us another RePitch for a new Netflix movie that just came out. Robert Rodriguez. Sorry, I
Yes,
can't
that's
speak
his name,
right
David.
now. A new movie from him. For those of you that know, he's the creator of Spy Kids and that whole film franchise.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, Rich, why this movie? What was your take on it? And yeah.
Spy Kids is one of my favorite children's genres, like minus the newest one that came out. But like, I love this so much. And the movie we're talking about, We the Heroes, We Can Be Heroes, is actually like a soft sequel to another Rodriguez film, Sharkboy Lava Girl, which I don't know if you watched it, David, but
I've actually never seen that.
It's hot garbage.
Yeah.
It's literal hot garbage. It's like it's after like Spy Kids 3 or 2, and it's just
Right.
like his popularity, and like people are getting sick of 3D stuff, like 3D theaters, and like this is
Right.
like not his last ditch ever, but like the movie Sharkboy and Lava Girl, it starts out with like this movie is dedicated to his son. And his son has like an interesting name, like race car or something. I don't like that. It's like the premise of that movie is like, oh, this boy who has imagination is like created Shark Boy and created Lava Girl, like something like that in this dream world. But this movie just, We Can Be the Hero. I really enjoy this movie. And
right. It just kind of like you're saying, it just takes all that whole entire world and just.
It just
makes
swipes
it
it like,
something
no,
else.
this is not a kid's imagination. These are real people. Like Shark Boy and Lava Girl are actual superheroes. And I'm like, and we live in a world of superheroes. And I'm like, that's so much fun.
No, I think it's kind of pretty clear to see, like, obviously he's pulling some, like, similarities between Spy Kids and this new franchise. It seems like he's going with, like, what are those similarities that you noticed and like that he took tidbits out of like Spy Kids that you enjoyed?
No, you bring up a great point. I mean, I'm not a kid. I mean, obviously we're not kids, but if I was a kid and watched this,
Right.
I'd be so hyped for this movie. I think it's so much fun. I don't know,
Right.
because like he's known to make some like some not gritty films, but like some like heavy dark film, not dark, but like
Right. I mean,
action.
Like what was it, Desperado?
Yeah, he's
With
done
the
some
Antonio
like
Banderas, all
action
that
movies,
stuff.
and like that's kind of like whoa, like it's intense. But like for some reason,
I'm
he
pretty sure he's like good friends with Tarantino, so that gives you a taste
exactly
of like where he's coming from.
what's his like lane, and he's like for some reason he knows how to direct and write really fun children's movies, and like this movie is not Shakespeare. It's not like amazing. This is not gonna be like. I'm not gonna like. It's not gonna go in a Criterion Collection. It's not gonna win an Oscar. But this movie is so much fun, and his good movies and Spy Kids are like really fun. Like I saw it like a year ago, and I still had so much fun watching them.
Right. And no, I you bring up a great point about Robert Rodriguez. I think why he's so good is that he's able to do like the gritty adult, like fun films, like pop films, but then he's also able to bring it down and like make these kids films for like.
And like I feel like rarely do you see movies for kids, but clearly written by adults that don't really know kids. But I feel like a kid could watch this and really enjoy it.
Right. And like the way that he's able to like bring those messages down and bring it to such a like level for them to be able to understand, for kids to like enjoy it like that, like that's talent in itself.
Oh
I
yeah,
think. You just imagine like guys like Christopher Nolan or like Tarantino even, or even like Scorsese trying to make a children's movie. Like they
sure.
probably can't.
Yeah,
like,
no. But like back in the early 2000s when he was Spy Kids were all the hype. Like the 3D and not 3D, the 3D effects wasn't as good, but now because it's so easy and it's much easier, it looks a lot better. I mean, of course, it's not that great, but like it still has that like Spy Kids feel to it that you like. I admire. Another thing I liked about this is like a lot of his movies have some like Hispanic culture and heritage in it. Like you see, We Can Be the Heroes. We see his abuela, and I'm like, oh, that's great. I wish they leaned more into that a little bit more, but like I love that he does that. He doesn't like whitewash it to make it show like, oh, like no, let's just make it these average cul-de-sac kids, but like no, like there's like heroes are ethnic in this, and like it's great. People of color are heroes. I'm like, this is really cool to see.
No, I think that's another good point that you bring up. I think for me, I think he does it just enough where obviously I think he's taking from his own, like, probably his own lifestyles or what he's been able to witness and like culturally, and just plug it in, but he doesn't like throw it in your face. It's
No.
just kind of like, hey, they're this type of family, they're from this culture, but
Exactly.
they're like in this normal American life.
Yeah, like they're normal. They have their own. Yeah, they're people. You don't like. They're still relatable, which is great. And like, this is such a fun movie. Like, he also like these. I'm sure as a kids would enjoy this, but as an adult watching this, I'm like, this is pretty funny. Like, this is pretty like because how sometimes kids movies are not the best, and so sometimes like in kids movie they have to insert a dirty joke so the adults can like enjoy it, listen to it. Like they don't have that here, but like
Right.
it's clearly for kids, but adults can still enjoy that, and that's such a thin line that's hard to like walk.
Yeah, and all right, spoiler warning.
Oh
This
yeah,
is our
spoiler,
part.
spoiler.
Like,
You
we're
guys should
going
watch
into
it,
this.
come back, and like yeah.
So this part going in, I was kind of very satisfied because this was a kids movie. Is the way that it ended.
Oh yeah,
That little twist at the end. How like it ultimately came out to be that there was no real villain.
yeah, which
in
is
this.
interesting.
Very interesting. I kind of liked that at the end of that. Like I enjoyed that aspect of it.
There's two twists. Like, Oho, one of the superhero kids are a bad guy,
Right.
but they're actually not bad guys. They're good guys. And I'm like, oh, like I was surprised that Oho was a bad guy alien. I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. That's pretty good. I'm like, wait, you're putting a twist on a twist? That's never good. And I'm like,
And then they added another twist.
yeah, I'm like, oh, they did this so they could train the new generation of heroes. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you're losing me here, but I understand the sentiment. It's pretty cute.
Yeah, no, I got it. Like what it was trying to do and what it was trying to accomplish. With that in mind, I was like, all right, that I get it. They did a good job with that. But, obviously we enjoyed this and we saw the upside in this and the possibilities that it has.
Mm-hmm.
What were some things that you thought, could have been better, should have been worked on, or could have taken a different approach, you think?
The one thing that I didn't really like about it, that there's an actress, her name is Priyanka Chopra. She was like the head of the heroes organization,
Yeah.
and she was like chasing the heroes around, and I didn't think she was the best person for it. Like she was like over the top, but not as
I
funny.
see.
She was just kind of bland. Like the casting in this, like we didn't talk about the casting in this. For the adults is hilarious. It's amazing. Like Pedro Pascal's in this. I'm like, he's following us around in RePitch.
Oh my gosh. He is, for some reason this past year, I think he must have been convinced by his kids or something,
Yeah.
or he's been motivated by his kids or something, but like he's been in that fatherly role this past year and I'm loving it.
It's like Pedro Pascal's in it. Boyd Holbrook, Miracle Man. He's Pierce in Logan. He's like the Superman in this world.
Oh, you know what I just realized?
What?
They both work together in Narcos, right?
Yeah,
That guy
exactly.
was
That's
in
where
Narc-
that's where they're from. Yeah, Christian Slater's in this, and like Sung Kang, Han from
Sung
Fast
Kang.
Han was in this, and he had an emotional moment with his son. That's like slow mo.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm like, yo,
All those parent moments, I'll give like
Yo,
it was very
amazing.
small, but it was very good.
like honestly, that's probably one of my Priyanka Chopra wasn't the best, and that would be my only I didn't like about that. Like I kind of wanted to see more parents conversation with the kids. You know what I mean? Like I want to see the dynamic, like Miracle Man with a son that's like on a wheelchair. Like, can you imagine like that kind of conversation? Or the Sun Kang having a kid, like he's the fastest man alive, but his son is super slow. Like the complex behavior behind it. I'm like, that's so interesting, but like it's not like they don't do it. Like you don't see enough of it. You know?
Right.
I mean,
No,
yeah. I mean, this movie is not it's not groundbreaking. It's pretty predictable. They have to run away. They get a mentor. They get trained. They get captured. They solve the fight together. It's not new, but it's still enjoyable. I wish there was like more, not twists and turns, but more originality. But this was really fun film.
But yeah, no, I think along that line, it's because it's so generated more for kids. I think it's geared more for kids. I think that's where the downside for us is coming from.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think at face value, this is a great film. Great.
It's really fun. Like it's not. It does. It's like it has a 4.7 in IMDb. It's not that great, but like the kid actress and actresses, they're pretty good.
She's pretty good.
They're
And
really not bad.
the parts where they were fighting, some of those kids were actually pretty good.
Yeah, they're really
like
even Guppy, Shark Boy and Lava Girl's character.
Right.
Like that was like she's adorable, and like I'm like I want to see more of that. Like it's really good.
I thought it was pretty funny though, because I forget who is Sung Kang's kid's name, like
Slow-mo.
the Asian kid's name.
His name is Slow.
They never tell us like real name, right?
I'm sure they do,
Slow-mo.
but that's what they call him the whole time, Slow-mo.
So Slow-mo, like I'm just picturing them like on set the whole time. You don't really see him in those like the scenes where they're running until like much later, but then you see him like in the background. He's just like
just going slow.
moving his arms like going slow. I'm just picturing that, like him on set with all the other kids like rushing around. He's just like in the back, like
I think it's
really
so
slowly.
funny. Oh man, I had something else, but like, you know who else was in this? Christopher McDonald, the president, Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore.
Yes,
he was the president, and I'm like, that's so funny.
I was kind of hoping deep down that George Clooney would have come
I
back.
was thinking the same exact thing when they said, the president has an announcement." I'm like, "Oh my god!" I was watching with this with my wife. I'm like, "I think George Clooney's gonna come up." She's like, "Why would George Clooney show up in this movie?" I'm like, "It's too hard to explain." But Christopher McDonald came up. I'm like, I got really sad inside. I'm like, "Oh, that's disappointing."
But then let's give it to the fact that maybe they're trying to just separate the worlds.
I don't think they should have.
You think they should have just brought in the Spy Kids and this whole?
I'm gonna talk about that in a second, but maybe they should have. Another thing that I thought was kind of bumming, like not that best, was Taylor Lautner. He was, as a kid, he was the original Shark Boy,
gosh.
but like
That is
they hired someone else, and this guy didn't have a speaking role the entire time, and like of course they had to cover his face, and he looked so seeing an adult man wearing the Shark Boy costume with that Shark Boy helmet is literally the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and I couldn't take him seriously. But Lava Girl, Taylor Dooley reprised the role, which was pretty cool, I thought.
That is good. That is nice. I'm very upset that Taylor Lautner didn't.
I know. I'm like, bro, what are you doing right now? That's so important. Nothing. Get in there. This is a fun film.
It was. And again, like for me, this, as I was watching it, I was getting very big Spy Kids vibes, and for me, I think that's where I just started off, and I saw that this could be something much more, and I could see Netflix taking this
for sure
new direction.
I feel like they're like building up to like a new series. I'm like, this is a Netflix original, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they could definitely take this anywhere at this point.
And seems like Robert Rodriguez might be in line be the next guy to get like a Netflix deal or something.
He should. I think honestly, like he might be one of my favorite directors. Like, you know how you love Christopher Nolan? This guy, Rodriguez might be my Christopher Nolan.
Hey, that's awesome.
Unironically, I think.
I think that's a great pick. Yeah. He's a filmmaker at heart, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Like he
could have easily phone this in. Who did X-Men 3? That one that no one liked.
Bryan Singer?
No, not Bryan Singer. The guy that does everything that no one likes. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, Brett Ratner.
Yeah, Brett Ratner is known to be a director that kind of just phones it in. Like, you hire him, and you don't expect the best film or the worst film. It's just like a middle line, and people hate him for that. But like Rodriguez, even though this is a kids movie, he like takes it seriously and there's heart to it, which is like really genuine and nice to see in a kids movie.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you see it in him. Like even all those other movies like Machete or like, that kind of stuff. Like, it's so out there, but like he loves this content. He puts his heart into the story, and like you see it, and that's why you enjoy those kind of movies.
You don't see it as another paycheck for him.
Right. But I think we can go down the road with Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, for sure.
A lot, but I think people want to hear. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Actually, before we continue, so I think we're gonna start trying to implement this new what do we call it, grading system for these new movies that we're kind of reviewing, and keeping it a little different since we're two guys here, 4 hands, 4 thumbs. That's the grading grading system we're going with.
Such a weird way to introduce that, David. But okay, go on.
But so based off of what we like, thumbs up, thumbs down, we'll give it our thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, 1 thumbs up, whatever it is. And pretty much that's our grading system going
so
forward.
A thumbs up so you and I both have the opportunity to give 2 thumbs up, which is like 2 points. But if for some reason I might now go and I put like 2 thumbs down, that'd be like -2, and we'll just try to add it up. So how many thumbs it is? So -4 thumbs or just +4 thumbs.
All right.
Is that a weird way? That's a weird way to say it. But okay, how many thumbs do you give to Steven?
This one, I'll give it my 1 thumbs up.
Oh, me too. 1 thumbs up for me. So
this is a 2 thumbs up from RePitch.
Yeah. we gotta find we gotta find an easier way to introduce that.
2 out of 4 thumbs.
Yeah, 2 out of 4 thumbs. Yeah. All
right. So without further ado, Richard, would you like to bring us your RePitch?
All right. For casting, I only have one person that I want to recast. Everyone else is really solid. The only Priyanka Chopra, I want to recast her. She's not the director of the Heroes organization, but she's kind of like the quote unquote like headmaster. But I'll talk about that in a second. So it starts out with, I don't want to. What was that?
Are you just are you gonna recast her with somebody famous?
Yeah, I was gonna. I want her. Trunchbull from Matilda.
Oh yeah. That's who you're gonna.
No. I don't think she's acting, but like I want that kind of feel to her. Like
okay.
She's like this ruthless, mean spirited like headmaster. So I was thinking like I have a weird cast of people. I was thinking like Jane Lynch, Michelle Yeoh, or like even Ashley Tisdale to like who can kind of play this role. But like I really want Lena Headey.
Oh, Queen Cersei.
Yes, from Game of Thrones. I think she'd be. I don't know if she would do this, but like I think it'll be perfect. It'll bring a whole new cast of people to watch this just for her. Because like
might be something fun for her to try out.
Exactly.
Like I like seeing actors who are traditionally in those serious roles try out these different comedic roles.
Who was Atomic Girl? What's her name?
The who girl?
Atomic Blonde.
Oh, Charlize Theron.
Yeah, she was in the Fast and Furious franchise, and she was amazing in that.
Right.
I love seeing that. So Lena Headey. How do you pronounce her name?
Lena Headey.
Headey. Okay, Lena Headey. She will be like the headmaster of the school.
Sorry, Lena Headey.
Headey. There's no L with her. So Lena Headey will be the headmaster. So what I'm trying to pitch here is not a movie. This is not a one-shot movie, but kind of like a 12-episode series of a TV show for children.
Okay. All right.
So what I'm trying to pitch is like a My Hero Academia mixed with like a Disney Sky High.
Okay.
So like
right.
kind of like what it's not high school, but like what middle school kind of culture is like, while adding like the superhero-ness. Like one day you and I need to sit down and RePitch Sky High for today, because like it's an amazing movie, but like this is like the one like first. So what we're seeing here is we're seeing superheroes run in this world, and like it kind of has what I liked about this movie that Rodriguez did. It had a what's that movie? What's the superhero movie TV show that just came out? 2nd season.
Umbrella.
No. Frenchie, Mother's Milk.
Oh, The Boys.
The Boys. Like it has like it's like on the nose kind of feel. Like
it does.
These guys are superheroes, but they're not like charismatic, cheesy, but like they're real people with flaws. Like you kind of see that. Like Miracle Man, he's like self-conscious. Like he wants to be this perfect person. Like so perfect to a point where he doesn't want to admit that he has a kid with a wheelchair, and kind of shuns him a little bit. Kind of showing that messed upness. Like even though people enter, like how's your kid doing and stuff. Like Miracle Man kind of just brushes it aside, doesn't mention him. And like is like very like kind of like trying to like put up this hysteria that he's this Superman like character.
Right.
We see this of what do you call it? The super fast guy with Sung Kang Han. I'm gonna call him Han throughout this my pitch because
that's fine.
That's who I know him as.
Yep.
He like you see like not this toxic relationship with their kids, but you see this more like the parents aren't the best parents or superheroes, best role models. Like they clearly love their kids, but like they're not doing like the best job they can be. Kind of like in Spy Kids. Like you see them loving their kids, but like you see them missing being like a spy and stuff like that. But in a very similar sense in that way. Mm-hmm. So we see the main character, Pedro Pascal's kid. She's sent to this new school, and it's this new school that's made for superhero kids. It's for newly established. That's when we're introduced to all these other kids. But like this school is kind of weird because it's run poorly, almost on purpose. Like the facility's not the best, and even the headmaster, Lena Headey, is not doing like she's not the nicest. There's no one really teaching them. They're just running wild, and they're just doing their own thing. In a very similar way, like the superheroes are disappearing, not all at once, but one by one, and this kind of like conspiracy of like, oh, what's going on, what's happening, and eventually like they find out like Pedro Pascal's kid and like rounds up all these groups of heroes kids, and not all of them, but again, this is not like a dozen kids, but like it's a whole school of kids. So she like gathers her class. It's like, hey, we need to like run away because something shady is happening. We need to save our family. She goes to her abuela, and their abuela is actually known to be this like amazing trainer, just like in the movie, and trains them. And it kind of has that feel, and we see this, and we later find out that there's no aliens, sadly, but it's kind of this like conspiracy of like, oh, the president is behind this, and we see the new president. I want to stick it with Christopher McDonald, but in the background, you see like portraits of other presidents. We see a picture of George Clooney in the back. Keep that in mind. We see George Clooney in the back. So these superheroes are trained by Pedro Pascal's mother, her abuela, and they're trained and they try to go save their parents because they find out they're stuck in this prison. And the president's plot the whole time is, okay, these heroes are causing too much of a muckus, and he wants to create the government to be stronger. So what do you call it? These superheroes are taking all the spotlight, so making him look like a fool. So he wants to show the world that, oh, the world doesn't need superheroes, but they just need him and the government's power. So eventually I want to get to a point where it ties with the Spy Kids franchise, where we see the whole thing, where we kind of like see hints of it. We see George Clooney. We see some of the same technologies that we see in Spy Kids. And it's not till the end where they reestablish the school. They save the parents. They defeat the president. The president gets arrested. And it ends with just like the idea of like, oh, the new school is established. The abuela is the new head master. And we see like, okay, what's happening? The school is gonna have a field trip to another school, and they're gonna have a field day, and we find out that it's the Spy Kids school for spies.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's kind of my pitch. Just like trying to spread it out throughout the episodes and make it more fun. Continue on, because like in the next season, it doesn't have to be the same kids; it could be other kids.
I see.
Because I feel like one thing they could have done really well with the Spy Kids, like they could have spun that off with the TV show. I don't know why they never did.
It's true. I mean that back then it was more so. I think TV wasn't looked at very well, so I think it just wasn't. It never caught on.
Yeah.
But with Netflix, everything nowadays, like you can pitch a TV show and they'll probably do it.
Yeah, I could see them making a 3-season show and just cut it done.
So I mean, that was
That was it. I do like the twist in this, but I like the cut and dry villain, and I just want to see it tie into the Spy Kids badly.
I see. So I mean, from the sound of it, I do enjoy it, and I am with you on that, like having that cut and dry, clear, black and white, good versus evil. It's fun to see that, but from the sound of it, it does sound like it's like, I mean, because like this movie is already a rehash of like Spy Kids.
Yeah, is it too much of a rehash of Spy Kids?
It kind of seems like it's leaning even more towards that direction.
Oh, maybe I like it too much. Well, green light or red light? Give me your rating.
But with the idea of it being a TV show and tying it in and everything, I will give it the red light. I mean, I'm sorry, the green light.
You just gave me a heart attack, David. Okay, give me a green light. I think, to be honest, I didn't have the third act well planned, but I do like my first and second act. It gets to a point I forgot to mention. Now that I have it, now I feel more relaxed. Like, it gets to a point where the parents realize, like, oh, their kids are not a burden. But like, even Miracle Man realizes, oh, even though his kid's on a wheelchair, he's the superpower person. He's amazing. There's no need for him to feel shame. And like, just like in the movie, Han realizes, like, even though his kid's slow, he's still amazing. He's still his kid. Stuff like that.
And the thing that I was gonna pitch to you, and like how you said that you wanted to do like a Sky High / We Can Be Heroes Spy Kids mix, I was thinking like the next season or the next movie should be Sky High when the kids are.
That'd be great. Spy High. That's what it's called. Spy High.
Spy High.
Hero High. That's what it's called.
Hero High.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you, David. Thank you for your rating. You know, that's one thing. Another thing that I thought was stupid in the movie. They wouldn't call them heroes, but like heroic. That was
the heroics.
Yeah, I'm like, that's kind of dumb. Just call them. It's like the whole Walking Dead problem. Like they never call them zombies, just like the Walking Dead, like crawlers. I'm like, just call them dang zombies for goodness sake. Just call them like I never understood why you just didn't lean towards that.
Oh, actually, big question. Because one of the factors I forgot to mention that I did enjoy for We Can Be Heroes was the fact that the girl was not superpowered.
Oh, that was really cool. I honestly,
I think that was a big point in the story that drove the whole story.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, for you, is that also
yeah? She doesn't have superpowers. Maybe like lean more into like a leader leads, like by example. Like you don't really see that done well as much in this movie. Like her things, okay, I'm gonna go on the tightrope, which I'm like, you don't really need to. Anyone else can. Like, but yeah,
right. So yeah, I think we both enjoyed this movie very well.
Yeah, it was a great.
You got the green light on your pitch.
Nice.
But looks like this episode has to come to an end.
Yeah, I mean, where can they reach us, David?
So I think they all know by now that they can reach us on our Instagram and Facebook, drp.repitch, or you can shoot us an email at drpitchit@gmail.com.
Yeah, guys, just stay tuned. We upload episodes every Wednesdays and Fridays. I think this Friday we're gonna talk about WandaVision. The first couple episodes came up, and Dave and I are gonna just talk about that, and maybe even try to pitch out what the rest of the season looks like. Yeah, please follow us, rate us, berate us, but please do share us. And you have a special call out.
Yes. Shout out.
That's the word. Call out is not a word, Richard. Yes, a shout out.
So yes, as always, our friend Joe Yu, Panda Mix on SoundCloud. He's been providing us with all the music for our intro music and outro music.
So
you guys
good.
have been loving that. Yeah, it's great stuff. His information will be provided in our description, so you guys should check him out and give him a listen, give him a like, share him, do whatever you like.
Yeah, just give him a good listen.
Yes, but before we go off, Richard, do you have
a quote from our sign off? A quote from this movie. All right.
Yes.
It's not enough to be strong, powerful, or even magic. If you do not use your strengths together and with good judgment, you are doomed. Was there magic in this movie? I don't think there was magic in this movie, but yes, that's a quote from the movie.
Well said. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, see you guys later.